Music helps to reduce stress, and our next guest is doing just that. She was born in Los Angeles in 1986, but her musical lineage goes back 161 years earlier in Austria. She's a descendant of classical composer Johann Strauss. He played the violin, but Nita Strauss prefers to shred a guitar. She made Guitar World's #4 guitarist of the decade and continues to make history along her heavy metal journey. I caught up with Nita on her tour bus. We talked about touring with rock legend Alice Cooper, earning a Super Bowl ring, her new album, The Call of the Void, and how a Ralph Macchio movie changed her life.
I come from a long line of musical family, all the way back, of course, to famous ancestry. So it's just always been a part of my life.
That's pretty cool. Your dad was a touring musician, played the bass guitar, and opened for Fleetwood Mac. And your mom was in another part of the arts, and she was a dance teacher, and helped you to push for your desire for the best. That's one thing that music does. It makes you competitive, and it makes you disciplined.
Definitely so. I think that if you want to pursue any career, whether it's something creative or anything at all, you have to have that drive to be the best, that drive to push forward against all odds and excel and succeed in ways that other people maybe don't have that same drive.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about excelling. You actually explored a number of things. You started on drums and bass. Your dad taught you your first chords, but at age 13, the guitar was something you connected with. What was it?
So I actually saw a little guitar movie when I was 13 called Crossroads, featuring the great Steve Vai. It was at that moment that I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do with my whole life. And really dedicated myself to the guitar ever since.
And what's so great about that is that, oftentimes people say there's something they want to do, but they're not prepared to put in the work to do it. You knew it at that point. You mentioned, that movie was like a life-changing moment for you. But you also created a rule to follow in your career that I think probably got you where you are even faster. If you were asked if you could do something, your answer was always what?
Yes, yes, you're so well researched. I love this. One thing that I've always lived by in my career is if someone asks you if you're able to do something, you just say yes, and if the answer is no, then you say yes and you figure out how to do it. And that has been something that stood me very well. Whether it's saying yes, I can play R&B and learning how to play for Jermaine Jackson's band, or saying yes, I'm available for a tour that I definitely was not available for, and getting someone to cover other gigs and going on big life-changing tour opportunities. So yeah, just saying yes to opportunity whenever possible.
So many times in today's society, people focus on the end game and not the journey it takes to get there, and that's really where the value is, building that resume. You did a lot of small gigs. You had the first band at the age of 15. You were in American Legion halls. You played in talent shows. You did whatever it took. Is there anything that you would give up for that type of experience? And what lesson do you have in there for people who want to be at the end game and forget about the beginning?
I have given up a lot for it. I'm 36 now. I think I'm at the age where a lot of women my age have settled down and had families and gotten married. That's something that I just got engaged a couple days ago. And
congratulations.
That is something. Thank you. That's something that I sacrificed for a long time to get to this point. Sort of having a personal life to the side. But I wouldn't trade it for anything, because this is the career I wanted. This is what I've always dreamed of, getting to be out here touring with, some legendary artists, making my own music. I'm out on tour with my solo band right now. So this is what I've always dreamed of.
And you've watched it build, and every step of the way you get that affirmation. In 2014, you joined Alice Cooper's band.
He's incredible, working with Alex now for close to a decade, having him feature on my record, playing on his upcoming record, Road, which comes out in August. I think of him as a mentor and a friend, as well as somebody I get to work with, so I feel very blessed.
And your lesson came to play there because, again, when you're asked, can you do something? You say, oh, absolutely, yes. You only had about 2 weeks to learn a lot of those songs.
Yeah, I had 2 weeks and I had other gigs that I had to sub out. So when I initially got the call saying, "Hey, are you available for a summer tour?" I was like, "Well, not really. I've got some other stuff, but what's the tour?" And they said it's Alice Cooper opening for Motley Crue, and I was like, "Totally available. No plans at all. Fancy free. Give them my number. Let's do this thing." And then had to figure out how to get someone to cover my other gigs that I had going on. I think pressure makes diamonds. You do your best work at times when you're able to just buckle down and say, "Look, I have 2 weeks and I'm going to be playing these songs in stadiums in front of people." So you get it done or you don't. And I'm glad I got it done.
And you build a reputation not only for being good, but your work ethic as well. You joined Demi Lovato's tour, and Demi was kind of revamping her musical style.
Demi did an incredible album whose name I'm not sure I'm allowed to say on this program. But she made an awesome hard rocking album, and part of the rollout for that record was her putting together an all-female rock band to take it on tour. So I felt really, really lucky to get to sort of bring that vibe to life with Demi and the girls. Demi's fans are absolutely incredible. So we had a wonderful time doing that.
You made a little history along the way with a particular guitar. Explain to us what that history-making moment was.
Yes, in 2018, I became the first female Ibanez signature artist, which was a huge honor. All of my heroes, the aforementioned Steve Vai and all of the guitar players that I looked up to that shaped me into the musician I am are all Ibanez signature artists. So to get to sort of join those ranks, be the first woman to get to do that was really an honor.
There's another honor that you have that's kind of interesting. You have a Super Bowl ring.
I do, yes. When the Rams had their amazing 2021 season, I was playing guitar for them at the time, playing at all the home games. So it is true when they say that if the team wins, everybody gets a ring, because I did get a ring.
There's another thing that you're passionate about besides just music. As you know very well, the lifestyle of a musician on the road all the time. In fact, you're coming to us from your touring bus can be rough. You get off late at night, there's nobody to play with, the bars are open. You fell into that trap and then you climbed your way out of that. What was your aha moment that I've got to change some things?
Yeah, I got sober in 2015, really after a long series of warning signs that it was time to sort of make a change my life. And it was the best decision that I've ever made for myself. I just felt like so many more doors opened. I was so much more clear and present and able to do a better job at, the thing that people want to see me do, which is play guitar, and I'm more able to give fans what they came to see. So it's almost 8 years now I've been sober, and best decision I ever made.
You weren't only shredding guitars, you're shredding your body as well. You lost, what, about 50 pounds?
I did, yes. After I got sober, I lost about 50 pounds on that Alice Cooper Motley Crue tour. And then took that knowledge and tried to arm other people with it. So we do a fitness challenge called Body Shred, aimed at getting the hard rock and heavy metal community more involved in being healthy and fit. We have prizes ranging from a signature guitar and a Marshall amp, all the way to an all-expenses paid trip to work out with me at First Forum headquarters in St. Louis.
It's almost like in one of your song titles fits your lifestyle, because you still have the chaotic lifestyle of being on tour, but you're controlling some things. So I love controlled chaos. Sounds like an oxymoron, but that's what your life is now, is controlled chaos.
Honestly, yes. Controlled Chaos is the title of my first album, and I still feel like I live in it every day. Controlled Chaos is just my way of life now.
Tell us about your new album, The Call of the Void.
The Call of the Void is sort of the next natural progression for me as an artist. You do have the instrumental stuff that I've been known for in the past, but we wanted to really branch out and reach a different audience, reach some new people with this, and let me explore some different sides of my creative personality. So we have some incredible guest vocalists on this album. We have a song called Victorious, which is on the radio right now, featuring Dorothy on the lead vocal. I have a song with Lizzie Hale. I have a song with my boss, Alice Cooper.
And Dead Inside, the single made history. It hit #1 on Billboard Rock Airplay chart, but the first female solo artist in over 30 years.
Isn't that a crazy sentence that you just said?
Yes, it is crazy.
You said it about me. The last person to do it was Alanis Morissette. So it's just insane to me that I get to have these opportunities and do these things, and that people are listening to this music. You know, I came up with it in a studio somewhere in Nashville, and now it's out in the world and making history and charting. And you know, Victorious, the same thing. You know, Victorious, I think, is number 27 rock song in the country right now, and that only happens because of fans listening and streaming and sharing and playing these songs and calling radio and requesting it, that they have the impact that they have.
All right, so when you're on stage, you know what you're doing. There's times when when you're a great musician like you can ad-lib and pull out some things that were unexpected, but you know what's about to happen. Let's go back to that proposal that you had. Were you completely surprised?
Totally surprised. I have never been more surprised, to be honest with you. My fiance did it at our LA show, which was also the album release show. So our families were there. You know, his mother flew in from out of town. You know, both my parents and my sister were there, all our family and friends. And I had no clue. I was already halfway back up to the dressing room. If you watch the early parts of the video, like I had to come all the way back down the stairs because someone said, like, go back down.
Encore. Yeah.
Encore, I thought we were going down to take a picture. You know, sometimes at the end of a big show, you do a photo, like, you know, with the band to the back and all the crowds behind, the fans behind you. So I was like, oh, I guess we're going to take a picture. And then I heard Josh, my now fiance, on the mic talking about how we met and everything. And I was just, I was over the moon. So the fact that it happened on that day, you know, with the record coming out, we found out our debut chart spot just like within that hour that we had come out at #1 on the iTunes rock chart. We were the #4 album on all of iTunes behind Taylor Swift, you know, and like those are the kind of things you only get a day like that once in your whole life.
I have a feeling you have more days like that to come. Maybe not more proposals, but you got more #1s to come. My next prediction is you have a #1 song the day your first child is born. How about that?
I love it. From your lips to God's ears. Let's make that a reality.
All right, you got your Houston concert coming up. What can fans expect?
So excited for Houston. We have always had amazing shows there. I have a new singer on this tour, Casey Carlson, who's from New York, and she has actually never played in Texas before. And as I've said for years, historically, Texas shows are just different. You guys know how to do it right here. So excited for her to get to experience that. So excited for me. I'm going to get some Buc-ee's. I'm going to get some beaver nuggets. I'm going to be nice and happy for the show. We're very, very excited.
All right, Nita, thank you very much. Somehow I just think that Johann Strauss will be very proud of you today.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Nita Strauss will be live in concert Friday, November 24th at 7:30 p.m. at Warehouse Live. She'll open for Mammoth WVH, which is the band fronted by Eddie Van Halen's son, Wolfgang. Tickets are still available for this all-ages show. Nita's new album, Call of the Void, is available now everywhere music is sold or streamed.